ever since that day, ever since that day, Mike, I've wanted to knock you the f*** out.
The boxing world is eagerly waiting for the much-anticipated bout between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, but some of the pros are not the biggest fan of this once-in-a-lifetime clash. UFC president Dana White is one of them. He expressed his worry for Tyson as he highlighted the 31 years age difference between the two fighters.
Earlier this week, Mike Tyson has been announced a return to boxing. I know in the past you said you didn't want him to fight again. You tried to talk him out of fighting again. Have you spoken to him about this one?
He gets mad when I do this, but Mike's 60, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Who gives a shit what I think? It's not my fight. I love Mike Tyson, personally as a friend, and he's one of my favorite athletes of all time. I don't know. Let's see what he can go in there and put together a training camp and come in and I don't like to see guys fighting it. Be a 31-year age difference during that fight. Just you guys know what I think of that stuff.
Former world champion Sergio Mora said that Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson is just not fair because of the age gap between the two. Mora stated, "Man, I've always been a critic of Jake Paul and, having him fight real fighters and boxers. But fighting a fighter that hasn't fought in over 20 years of Mike Tyson, he got beat, 20 years ago. And he got knocked out in the last 2 fights. So at 57, 58 years old, come on, you're fighting a senior citizen, and it's not fair." Mora highlighted the recent training videos that Tyson has been uploading and believes that these 10 seconds training clips are not practical when it comes to a real boxing match. He stated, "He can look like a beast, Mike Tyson, for like the 10-second clips that he posts on social media. Anyone could do it. I could look like a killer right now on the pads for 10 seconds, but as soon as he turns that camera off, I'm gonna be huffing and puffing and sore." Sergio Mora also gave a bold prediction for the fight. He believes that Mike won't survive for long without a headgear.
Tyson's not going to be a good look for his legacy. It's going to raise a lot of money, and people are going to watch, but I don't like the fight.
Are you tuning in?
If there's no headgear, I think Mike gets beat up, where they probably stop the fight.
Wow.
I hate to say that. I hate to say
If he does knock him out, would Sergio come back and face Jake Paul?
I mean, I'll fight Jake Paul for free. Jake Paul, I'll fight you for free anytime. I'm weighing 190 now, so let me know.
Make it work.
Sergio Mora was not the only one to point out the training sessions of the Iron Mike. UFC legend Chael Sonnen, being the ultimate trash talker that he has always been, took to Twitter and accused Mike of posting fake training sessions. He wrote, "In the future, if you're ever going to spend 5 seconds hitting mitts as a way of making the audience believe you're doing a training session, make sure you splash water on your face and t-shirt first." Chael also deems the match between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul to be a big flop because he believes that it'll be horrible to watch.
This thing is going to look terrible on TV. You think this thing is going to draw more than Mike versus Roy? You think this thing is going to draw more than Fury versus Francis? It's going to look ridiculous in an 80,000 seat arena. And what would be the reason that they're boxing? Money. Yep, sure. Yeah, we understand that. That doesn't work. It's a flop. It's a flop. Floyd and Conor in the fight capital of the world did less than 12,000 tickets. Come on, man. In Texas? Come on.
The American Gangster took Vitor Belfort versus Evander Holyfield as an example of how the age difference between the two led to massive criticism for Vitor and later retirement from boxing. Chael believes the age gap between Mike and Jake could also lead to massive heat if Jake beats an old Mike Tyson, who is a boxing legend and loved by almost everyone. He stated, "Vitor Belfort, who never boxed, put Holyfield away so fast." So this Holyfield is an Olympic gold medalist you're watching. Vitor, who has never boxed, put him away so fast that it ended Vitor's boxing career. They would not book him again. They labeled him like an elderly abuser. How dare you? How could you do this? Vitor never got another fight. Jake Paul will get teased for taking this Tyson fight too. The age gap between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul has been the biggest criticism of the mega fight. This age gap not only jeopardizes the well-being of Mike Tyson during the fight, but also the credibility of Jake Paul as a legit boxer too. Paul has previously expressed his thoughts about taking boxing seriously and winning a world title, but his fight against an old and washed-up Mike Tyson is the complete opposite. Oscar De La Hoya also believes this, as he thinks Jake can't lead himself to the world title by fighting Mike Tyson.
Jake Paul, you say you want to be a world champion. You say you want to take this sport serious. Then take it serious. What is this? This is not a popularity contest. I'm actually praising Jake Paul here to take this serious, because I really truly feel if he fights the right fights and takes the right path to that world title, he can actually get there.
Oscar also mentioned the age gap between the two fighters and advised Paul to avoid these kinds of matches. He stated, "I don't know how that's going to work. Mike Tyson is 60 years old. Jake Paul is 26, 27. If Jake Paul wants to take boxing seriously, take a different route. Take the route that all the other fighters take. Tough fights up the ranks. Top 10 fighters, top 5 world champions. Not this route with Tyson. That's not the way to do it." When asked about if Tyson can still go toe-to-toe with Jake despite his age, Oscar stated, "Tyson still has the punching power. That's the last thing that goes until you're in your grave. If Tyson catches him with a good one, it's lights out for Jake Paul. Imagine Tyson in a real fight. He still has that punching power." But Oscar also points out the young age of Jake Paul and believes that he can easily tire out Mike Tyson. He stated, "If Jake Paul has the conditioning as a young man that he is, he should be able to tire out Tyson. Yeah, he should be able to tire out. That's the history of the game." Besides showing concern for Tyson's well-being, De La Hoya even claimed that Paul versus Tyson would not set the right image for boxing as a sport. However, he felt the fight scheduled for July 20th would bring huge exposure to professional boxing. But Jake Paul didn't take Oscar's words nicely, as he told Oscar to look after his boxer Ryan Garcia, who's gotten himself in trouble recently. Jake stated, "Oscar De La Hoya has a lot to say about me and Mike Tyson. I hope he's as concerned about Ryan Garcia's health and his own legacy. But this doesn't stop others from criticizing the match, as Derek Chisora believes that the bout between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul is going to be a joke. He also thinks that the two will fight with headgears, and the match is going to look like a sparring session."
Tyson and Jake Paul fighting in Dallas, Texas, July 20th. What do you think about this announcement?
I know for a fact they are using 18-ounce gloves and head guards, if I'm not mistaken.
No way. They couldn't.
Yeah, I think so.
Where are you now? I don't even believe. There's no way they're selling those tickets.
So we're watching a sparring match.
Let's assume that there is going to be no headgear. I can't imagine that actually being the case. But so, what are you saying, that that's not a real fight?
I don't know, man. I don't know. How old is Jake Paul? And I come back again, a guy who's 24, fighting a guy who's fucking 56. I'm like, it's a fucking joke. You think I'll pay and watch that?
Famous YouTuber and Jake's brother's Logan Paul's business partner. KSI believes that Jake taking on Mike is a lose-lose situation for the young boxer. He stated, "I just feel Jake's legacy will be, he can knock out old people. I think it's super sad. I don't know why Jake took it. It's a lose-lose. There's going to be so many people watching, millions and millions. Everyone is going to know him as a guy that knocked out an old Mike Tyson." Former UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping also thinks that this fight is a lose-lose situation for Jake Paul. He believes if Jake beats Mike, he'll be labeled as a senior citizen abuser, and if he loses, people will say that he lost to a 58 years old.
A 58-year-old Mike Tyson. This is a lose-lose situation. If he beats Mike Tyson, God forbid he even knocks out Mike Tyson, that's just a dick move. It's like when Vitor Belfort went up against Evander Holyfield. You'd have to be a certain level of piece of shit to really go and try and knock this man out.
Former British professional boxer Tony Jeffries is also disappointed in Mike Tyson for taking this fight. He believes that even a legend like Mike Tyson can be bought, which makes this situation very sad. He stated, "It's so sad that Mike Tyson has got to do this fight. Someone on Instagram said that he's choosing to do it. But why is he choosing to do this? Well, he's doing it for one reason and one reason only, and that is money. He's getting so much money to do this, so that tells me that he's getting bought. It's very sad that someone like Mike Tyson, a boxing legend, can get bought. He shouldn't be able to be bought like this. He's 57 years old. He should be enjoying retirement." UFC star Colby Covington simply hates the fight, as the age difference between the two fighters concerns him regarding Mike's well-being. Colby believes that this fight will tarnish Mike's legacy. He also accused Jake Paul and his brother Logan Paul for taking steroids.
I think, Mike still looks like a superhuman for 58, but he's still 58 years old, and he shouldn't be fighting anymore. I don't think it's safe. I think it's dangerous. At that age, your heart might explode. He gets hit in the head, he might have a brain bleed. I mean, the guy, that's what I hope for. I hope that Mike Tyson makes it through injury-free and doesn't get hurt. But I don't like the fight. Jake's in his mid-20s. He's doing every chemical known to man. He's literally a lab project. They're just juicing him up, him and his brother. Yeah. Everybody knows that. The machine's behind him, juicing him up, putting every chemical known to man. So I think it's going to end bad. I think, Jake's going to probably knock him out within the first 2 minutes. And if he doesn't, then it'll be because he's carrying him and he's trying to make the freak show look like it's a competitive fight. But I hate the fight. I think it takes away from Mike Tyson's legacy when a guy like this comes in and beats him.
Former world champion Carl Frosch also showed distaste towards the upcoming mega fight. He stated, "I stumbled across the news that Jake Paul is fighting the legend, the icon Mike Tyson. I just thought this cannot be happening. You can't be putting a mid-20 guy in his mid-20s in against a guy that's approaching 60 years old. I was thinking not surely this is like a bit of an exhibition or a bit of a gimmick, or they're having some kind of a steady move around. But Jake Paul is actually officially taking on Iron Mike Tyson. He's an icon in the professional boxing world, and Jake Paul's not even a pro boxer. So when I heard this fight was happening, I was absolutely disgusted. And I think it's so bad for boxing, right?" Former UFC double champion Daniel Cormier was also in shock after hearing the announcement for this fight. During a show with Stephen A. Smith, Cormier recalled the time when Mike attended a UFC event with a cane. This worries Cormier as he doesn't understand why Mike took the fight knowing that he's not what he used to be. Cormier also criticized Jake for fighting an old and retired Mike Tyson and told that this fight would do nothing for Jake's career.
The former heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, will fight Jake Paul.
He walked in with a cane, Stephen A. And now you gonna fight Jake Paul? What are we doing?
You know what Mike Tyson's doing? What's Jake Paul doing? If you saw him walk into the arena with a cane, Jake knew about it. I can tell you that much.
This guy speaks of building himself as a true fighter. Him fighting a 57-year-old Mike Tyson doesn't do that. I don't love that outside of the fact that Mike gets to make some money. Jake seems to be going backwards. I just don't like the matchup, and I also love Mike Tyson, but I also sat there with my broadcast partners, John Anik and Joe Rogan, and we watched Mike last year walk into a UFC event walking on a cane, Stephen A. The year after is going to fight.
The notorious Conor McGregor was not sure what to make of this fight, as it seemed a bit strange to him. During an interview for his upcoming film, Roadhouse, Conor was asked that what he thinks about the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. He replied, "Jesus, I don't know. It's a strange one for me. I wish well for Mike." Here is a short comparison of the training footage both fighters have released. You can see the difference of speed and accuracy. Logan Paul, along with his friends, talked about the fight. Here is what he has to say.
I'm sure you have some opinions about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson is 57 years old. Honestly, I just think it's sad, bro. I don't know why Jake took it. It's a lose-lose. Everyone's gonna know him as the guy that knocked out on old Mike Tyson.
At his age, if you get hit by one solid Jake Paul punch, you're prune juice.
It's Mike Tyson. Anything can happen. Jake could literally walk out without an ear. Like, bro, he's...
The funny thing is, Evander Holyfield followed me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I said, nah.
Not enough ears?
No, I'm
Chael Sonnen had a different kind of reaction when he came to know about the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson's fight confirmation.
Just right now, Jake Paul is set to fight Mike Tyson July 20th.
Swear to God, I was with Mike Tyson 1 week ago in Saudi Arabia. The first thing I thought is how lean he was. He's got an aura.
By the way, Mike's gonna be 58 years old at this fight, and Jake's gonna be 27. And can Mike still beat Jake or no?
Jake will beat him, but yeah, Mike could go with him.
You think Jake's gonna beat Mike Tyson? I don't see how he can just go take an L to Jake Paul. He's 30 years older. Sometimes grandpa's gotta whoop up on some kids.
Right now, I get out of breath running to the bathroom here. Imagine 60 years old.
Manny, with all due respect, you're not Mike Tyson.
Andrew Tate exposes Jake Paul's fight with Mike Tyson.
I'm gonna fight Mike Tyson on Netflix.
Yeah. Would you fight Mike Tyson? There's no amount of money on the planet that can convince me to fight Mike Tyson. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match. I'm not boxing. Perhaps if I was a boxer and I was heavier, maybe I can make a bunch of stories. The truth is I'm a kickboxer and it's his rule set and he was Mike Tyson. He would have beaten me, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable and I'd feel dirty for doing that.
Tristan Tate had a different kind of reaction than his brother Andrew Tate on Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. Here is what he said.
What do you think about the demographic of Jake Paul fighting against Mike Tyson?
Look. Well, you're my friend.
Right.
So I'm not going to accuse me of what I accuse everyone else of. I'm going to say it. I like Jake Paul. I like him, and no one can make me not like him. He is now the 110th ranked fight boxer at his weight in the world. Yeah, He's not great. That's not world champion. That's not.
But he trains hard.
I believe that he isn't that kid who does gay dances for attention anymore.
No, and people change, and
now
I
he's
agree.
putting his neck on the line. And the moment he gets sparked and knocked out, 1 billion people who can't fight and who have never fought will be like, ha ha ha, Jake Paul got knocked out, nah, 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 nah. So, I don't care if he does get knocked out. Fair enough. Fair play to him. He's getting in the boxing ring. And by the way, if you don't know this, if you're watching at home, if you get knocked out, you can fucking die, by the way. Literally, you can quite literally die.
Joe Rogan thinks that it's a bad idea to fight Iron Mike Tyson, even though he is 58 years old.
The one thing he doesn't want to do is fight Mike.
No.
He wants to fight Mike, I think.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't give a if he's 55. Yeah. That's still Mike Tyson.
Mike's in good shape, too.
Oh, my God.
Mike trains every day.
He trains with Rafael Cordero, who's a legend in MMA. He runs King's Mixed Martial Arts. And Rafael is a world-renowned trainer. When you see him holding the mitts for Tyson, and Tyson smashing the mitts, you're like, Jesus.
Yeah,
that guy can still fuck you up.
He don't want to fight Mike.
In another podcast, Joe Rogan even talked about Mike Tyson when he was young and in his prime.
Everyone was sad because Muhammad Ali got beat up by Larry Holmes.
Yeah.
And then nobody ever gave Larry Holmes his just due. Larry Holmes was a wicked boxer.
Yeah.
He was wicked. He had one of the best jabs of all time.
But he was killing a legend.
But he killed a legend. Yeah.
That's what people were.
They liked him a little when he beat up Jerry Cooney.
Yeah.
And then they liked him a little, well, when he came back to fight Tyson, and he fucked around.
Tyson,
He found out. That was Tyson when he was Tyson. When in his young 20s, when he was just unstoppable. Unstoppable. When he knocked out Larry Holmes, it was like, what am I even seeing?
Yeah,
Is Larry Holmes laid out? Is this real?
And he said he did it in part because of the Ali thing. He was still angry that Larry had beat. Didn't he say that Larry?
I think Ali was in his corner.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about this mega fight? Do you agree with these pros or not? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.